afternoon, wherever you're joining us from, and welcome to another edition of What's New with VETRO. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. So here's our presenter team today. My name is Brock Hurley. I'm a product marketing manager here at VETRO, and I'm joined today by James Irvine, a sales engineer, and Pat Edwards, our product manager. You want to say a quick hello, guys?
Hey, yeah, I'll say hi. My name's Pat, product manager at VETRO. I'm really excited for today. The development teams have built some great features over the last few months. So yeah, I'm just really excited to watch James show it off. He's going to do a great job. So yeah, looking forward to watching James.
Hey everyone, I'm James Irvine, sales engineer here at VETRO. Really excited to demonstrate some of the products and features that Pat and the engineering team have developed. So very much looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So just to set the stage a bit before we jump in, many of you joining today have probably seen this slide before, but just a quick reminder for those new faces that are in here. VETRO Fibermap offers a purpose-built, easy to use, and fully SaaS platform that makes fiber management radically simpler. We deliver value across the entire life cycle of your network. So really, no matter what you're doing, you're saving time, finding revenue opportunities, getting a deeper insight into your business, and streamlining communications across all of your departments. Today, we're really focused on one key impact of how the platform helps manage your network, getting more efficient and moving faster. So we've got a few new features to show off today. The first one of these is Quick Route. Quick Route is a new feature in VETRO Fibermap that really revolutionizes the actual drawing of your network maps. Lets you draw two perfectly coincident lines between 2 points, automating the process and really enhancing accuracy and efficiency. It streamlines cable management, improves visualization, really helps you save a lot of time and avoid clicks. Really excited for the demo James has got for you this one today. You'll really see how this is going to speed things along. Second on the agenda, we're going to be looking at the new fiber paths table. So some of you may have checked this out already, but this is a new table that provides you with a comprehensive view of the physical layout and the connections within your fiber network. It enables efficient network troubleshooting, effective design decisions, really helps you identify who might be affected by upcoming network maintenance, gives you a ton of information about your network. And then after that one, we'll be jumping into, really excited about this one, the new network dashboard feature. So again, some of you have been playing with this all summer so far, but for those that are new to it, it's a new module that lets you see summary statistics of some important elements in your network, and also seeing the relevant features on the map beside those summaries. Really is a nice dashboard, sets things up well, makes your data easily accessible, helps you with real-time monitoring of your network growth, enhancing planning, really just makes things easier for your users all the way from, out in the field right to your C-suite. But that's enough of me talking for now. Let's get right into our first demo here. I'm going to pass over to you, James, to show us Quick Route.
Great, thank you, Brock. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So everyone should be looking at VETRO and a portion of the network that we're going to be demonstrating here, at least for the Quick Route demonstration. Just to give a brief overview of what Quick Route is that Quick Route is a new way of digitizing line features like cables and conduits in your network that can dramatically reduce the time spent drawing, improve accuracy, and make it easier to take advantage of VETRO's contained by relationship. And so that brings us to our first topic of conversation, which is what is a contained by relationship in VETRO? We can think of the contained by relationship in VETRO to be one feature that may be housing another feature. And to give you an example of that, we can think of a duct feature, for instance, that might be housing some fiber cable in VETRO. Once we are able to assign those contained by relationships in VETRO, we can then start utilizing a powerful report that's built into VETRO Fibermap called the duct report, which gives you a tabular view of all of the ducts in your network, the cables that they're contained by, and a quick status of whether they're occupied or available. This dramatically helps you maintain your network as you're drawing it, and implementing those contained by relationships early give us action towards maintaining, deploying, and operating within those conditions. And so let's talk about how we actually generate a contained by relationship in VETRO. At first, traditionally, right? And so traditionally speaking, how we might go about creating a contained by relationship is first, we need to draw a line that is coincident with the line that it is being contained by. And so we might start, for instance, at the service location here and start generating a line along this line, like this duct here. And we have to encompass all of the vertices along this line, as well as the points, and then end the line where the duct feature ends. Now, as you can see with this particular line that goes all the way to this pedestal, that's a number of clicks that, that you're going to have to be performing along just that short line. And you can see that as we go out further and further, these dramatically increase the number of clicks that you have to perform as each foot or each vertex is placed along this line. What we've done to simplify this is generate a new feature that we're calling Quick Route. And so what Quick Route allows me to do is very easily place a point on the map where I'd like to start my new feature and place a Z location where that feature is supposed to end. We get this mock-up that is perfectly coincident with the line feature that we're overlaying it on. And then we just simply pick the line feature that we'd like to draw over, input the required attribute fields here, and then we have the option to save if we're just generating one particular line feature. But pairing this with VETRO's autosave feature makes this an incredibly powerful tool that allows me to perform this workflow over and over again, increasing my efficiency and dramatically improving the user experience of digitizing. And so once we've set out to actually create a fiber cable like this drop layer that is coincident with that microduct layer below it, we can then start utilizing that contained by relationship in VETRO to then go about assigning this drop to each particular microduct. And so we'll do that for these 3 service locations here very quickly. And then once these are assigned, again, we can start utilizing those powerful reporting tools that we have built into VETRO to then report on whether these ducts have a contained by relationship, what the specific duct ID is that's containing the fiber cable, and what that fiber cable ID is as well. Now, while we're on the topic of what features pair well with each other, allow me to be your VETRO sommelier in this regard and recommend another feature here that pairs very well with Quick Route and the contained by relationship, which some of you may be familiar with, called the update coincident line tool. And so what update coincident line tool allows us to do is select a point feature that has coincident lines going into it and alter the geometry of all of the lines that are coincident. You can see that as I'm altering that geometry and I hit save, that all of those line features are moved with that point feature. And where we have that contained by relationship built into those drops and those duct features, all of the lines are going to move with that point. And so we're not going to have to go back and manually alter the geometry of each individual fiber cable that's located in that duct, and then potentially alter some contained by relationship by accident. I'm going to send this back to you, Brock.
There's the mute button. Awesome. Thanks, James. Appreciate that. Take this back over. We're actually going to pause here for a minute. We've had a few really good questions come into the chat already. Just a reminder, folks, the Q&A function in the chat is open. If you've got questions, keep dropping them in there. We love to answer them. So first up, we've got this one. This is a good one here. Does this Quick Route feature use a maps routing engine or road center lines?
I can take that. Hi, it's Pat. So does it use a routing engine or road center lines? So there is another feature in VETRO that that does both of those things. I can talk about that a bit, but Quick Route, as we just saw James demonstrate, that's actually routing on the existing network that you've designed. So if you've already gone in and drawn in your duct network, or maybe imported road center lines and added those to your duct network, Quick Route will route on that network itself. So if you bring in existing cables, or you've drawn your backbone and you want to go through and add your duct, you just click on the cable at one point and the other, and it routes along those cables themselves. We do have a feature called route to network, and that's using a map routing engine that basically follows road center lines, and that's more used for expanding off your existing network. Quick route is better to use when you're expanding off your network or adding to your network, or adding new layers to the network if you've already gone through and drawn your initial routes.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Pat. Another one here. Will this update be available automatically?
No, not actually. Typically, when we roll new features out, we do roll them out all at once. This feature, Quick Route, and the other one that we're going to show today, Fiber Paths Table, both of those use some new technology for us at VETRO. So we're just making sure we roll that out in stages. So we've got an initial batch of customers have all had that appear. You'll get an in-app notification and an email when this feature becomes available. We're rolling it out as quickly as we can. So yeah, anyone who's like extra keen, please let us know, and we'll keep you updated on when you'll be receiving it.
Awesome. That's great news. Nice speed on the rollout there. One more coming into the chat here. Is it possible to use Quick Route to allow multiple prems to be taken to the same point rather than doing each one separately?
To allow multiple prems to be taken to the same point, I'm taking that question as like multiple service locations back to the same point. As James showed with the autosave feature, you would do that basically in 4 kind of quick clicks. You would click the first premise and click back to the FAT or whatever sort of terminal you're using, and then click again on the other prem and click back on the FAT. You will have to click on each individual prem, but you'll only have to click back on a single FAT, and it'll follow whatever underlying network you've already drawn back to that, whether that's duct or something else.
Awesome. Thanks, Pat. In the interest of time, we are going to move on to our next feature demo here, but keep those questions coming. And if we have time at the end, we can circle back to any remaining Quick Route questions. So at this point, I'm going to pass back over to you, James.
Awesome. Thanks, Brock. Thank you for those questions, everyone. All right. So next on the list, we have the fiber paths table. This is something that we're really excited to show off. We put a lot of hard work and effort into deploying this and doing it in a way that is maintainable and operates very efficiently. And so what is the fiber paths table? The fiber paths table allows users to access all of their connectivity in the network via a powerful new interface. It streamlines a number of workflows like splice validation, circuit creation, and circuit reporting into a simple, easy to use interface. Now, before we dive into the fiber paths table itself, let's just talk about what a fiber path is in VETRO. And so a fiber path can be thought of in a couple of different ways. First, the fiber path itself, which is essentially one or more fibers that are connected and generate a route to, let's say, a premise location, right? And we can think of being fully connected in that way as shooting a light, let's say, from the central office and having that light pop out at the service location. Now, the second way that we can talk about fiber paths is stored fiber paths. And traditionally, how we generate a stored fiber path is through Fiber Manager. And so what Fiber Manager allows me to do is indicate where that fiber path begins, for instance, and then indicate where it ends. And we're using the example of a central office and a service location for this example. We can see the geographic tracer on the left. We can see the actual fiber path itself with those geographic references at the top. And then we can go about attributing the circuit with a specific fiber path status if we'd like to, and then indicating that we want to save that with any attribution that might be required for that particular fiber path. Setting stored fiber paths in VETRO is a crucial part of maintaining your network. If we go upstream, for instance, we want to be able to see downstream what circuits that we have or stored fiber paths we have so that we're not creating inadvertent interruption in service. And so we can see here in the splice diagram, which may look familiar to a lot of you, that we have these various colors here that indicate some level of fiber path status. And so Fiber Manager is great for when we want to target specific service locations or specific fiber paths and go about attributing them to prevent downstream effect. in our network. So what we've set out to do with the fiber paths table is take that and broaden it out so that we're able to manage fiber paths on a much larger scale than what we were able to do in Fiber Manager. You'll notice that we have this network analysis button down here at the bottom that allows us to access the fiber paths table. And what we'll see here for that particular point, which is a cabinet, all of the fiber paths initially that we have that intersect that cabinet. We also have the ability up here to just generate stored fiber paths that we have at that cabinet, and also the available fiber paths at that cabinet as well. To streamline this and make it a lot easier to use, we've included this quick filter option that allows you to say, let's not just see all of the fiber paths of this cabinet per se, but let me take a look at fiber paths that may be actually starting at the central office. And so we can include that filter there and allow that to refresh. And now we have a better idea of, from the central office to this cabinet, what fiber paths are available there. Using the quick filter even further here, we're able to say, okay, maybe I'm not necessarily concerned with just where it starts at the central office, but now I want to document available paths that exist from the central office all the way at my service location. And now you can see that we have all of these available paths here that we can then start reporting on. And so this is great for measuring what your capacity is, right? You may have an instance where you want your sales and marketing team to start going out and acting on some of this data. And through the fiber paths table, we can start generating customized reports that show the data that we'd like to show in a more suitable manner for reporting. And so what we've done here to make that even more customizable is we've included additional filtering options here, where we might want to say, filter on a specific fiber or a specific attribute field within the fiber paths table here. And then we also have the ability to manage the fields here and expose certain attributes that we may want to include or not include in a report. Exporting this out is really easy. We just simply click export here, and this goes out to our reporting dashboard once we generate that report. And so what does this look like in practice, right? How do we go about, let's say, bulk attributing fiber paths in a manner that makes sense? Well, you may find yourself in an event where you want to, let's say, turn up all of the available fiber paths on a specific OLT port. And so you'll notice that we have a starting equipment here of OLT that exists at our central office. And so we might say, let's filter based on our start equipment where the behavior contains OLT. And if I apply that, we'll give that a moment to refresh. And now we have just the fiber paths that originate at the OLT. Now, taking this one step further, I can say, not just start at the OLT, but let me actually filter based on the start equipment port number. And let's say, for instance, that we want to measure all of the available circuits that exist on the OLT port 1. Can let that refresh for a moment. And now what we're seeing is all of the available fiber paths that exist at OLT port 1. We can get a count of the filtered objects up here. So we have 44 available fiber paths. And now if I'd like to, I can simply select all of the fiber paths that I wanted to turn up into circuits. I can edit that status to be circuit. And then allowing this to refresh, you'll see that all of those available fiber paths at OLT port 1 are then set to that circuit status. And we'll see that once that's done refreshing, we have no available fiber paths under the filtering that we've provided here. And then we can start looking at stored fiber paths, perhaps for that specific OLT and that specific port that we've designated in our filter. Back to you, Brock.
Awesome. Thanks, James. Great demo. Okay, we're going to pause again, folks, for a couple of questions. If you've got any, there's still time to throw them into the chat there. Let's see. First one here. If you rename your central office or service location layer in your layer list, will the fiber paths table reflect that change?
I can take that one. This is Jamie, the platform literacy manager. The answer is yes. Whatever name you have changed your central office layer or the service location layer to will reflect in that quick filter for you in the fiber paths table.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Jamie. Let's see what else we've got in here. Covered it a bit in your demo there, James, but can I use the fiber paths table to help me see which customers will be affected by planned outages? And can you talk a little bit more about how this works?
Yeah, I can take that one. Oh, sorry, James, are you going to take that one?
Yeah, I'll let you take it, Pat. No problem.
Okay, cool. So yeah, this was actually when we were playing this feature, this was one of the use cases that a customer brought to us. They wanted to be able to understand, hey, if I'm going to do some work on this cabinet or I need to take this OLT card out, what customers are going to be associated with it? So yeah, that was a big part of the design. So yes, you can use it for that use case. The way it works is you just make sure that you've got on your circuit records, you've got the address field filled in for each of the circuits, or in the service location that you've entered those addresses in the service location. And then the fiber paths will link to those address fields. And then when you export that table, the addresses will come out in that table, and you can send that to whoever, and your service team basically use that as the list to send out the outage notification or the maintenance notification.
Awesome. That's great. Thanks, Pat. We got time for a couple more here. Reading through. Can I export the list of customers on circuits?
Yes, similar kind of question, but yes, that you can export the list of customers on the circuits as long as you have filled in all of the customer information on the service location. Those attributes will get mirrored onto the fiber path, and then you can export the fiber paths, and they'll have those. And you can just, if you want to minimize the amount of data that's in that report, maybe your service team doesn't care about the starting equipment ID, you can just like remove those fields before you export it as well. So you just get the list of customers.
Awesome. We got time for one more here. Next up, what is the source of OTDR length? And can you detect the location of optical fiber faults?
So the source of the OTDR length is user provided. So whenever you've set up a circuit in VETRO, there is a field for you to enter the OTDR information that you've taken. So if you've taken a reading, you can put the most up-to-date reading in there. So that's the source of that particular field. So when you export it, you're getting it from a real reading that you've taken. You can when you're adding that information, you can also use that to do an OTDR trace with using the OTDR tool, where you basically provide that number and the fiber path and the cable, and it will tell you exactly where on the cable that break is likely to be located, considering things like the sag length and slack that you've added to the network. So yeah, it's not auto detecting anything beyond that.
Great. Thanks for all of your questions, everyone. We're going to move on to our next demo now, but keep those questions coming. If we have time at the end, we'll try to answer a few more. Back over to you, James, to show us the network dashboard.
Awesome. Thank you, Brock. All right. So yeah, what we wanted to show you and kind of save this for the last demonstration here is our network dashboard. We put a lot of thought and listened to a lot of our clients about feedback on what they'd like to see in VETRO as far as, reporting, right? And so what the network dashboard is a new application we've developed alongside VETRO Fibermap that enables users to easily access summary statistics of important elements in their network while simultaneously viewing the relevant features on the map. And so some of you may have noticed that VETRO looks a little different than traditionally it has looked in the past. And so what we've done is we've actually started creating focused features with a specific use case for specific focused workflows. And that's where we've located the network dashboard to be alongside of Fibermap here in app form. And so let's talk about traditional querying in VETRO and what it's looked like in the past. And so traditionally what we've done in the past is we've said, let me either select or draw a boundary on the map, and then let me indicate plans and layers that I'd like to query on based on those boundaries. You can get a quick count and length using the analysis of polygons tools, and then actually download that into CSV. Now, what we've seen in the past with that is that if you have multiple boundaries, or if you have to query in multiple areas, you have to either manually digitize those or manually select them on the map. And so what we've done with Network Dashboard is we've actually given summary statistics of all of your network features, whether they're network lines or network points. And initially when we open this, we see our entire network. And so what we've also included is the ability to drill into specific plans, if you will, and generate summary statistics in a more refined way. And so we'll see all of the network lines and network points summary here for all of the plans that we've selected. And we can start generating a custom view for this report by clicking this cogwheel and indicating just the line layers that we'd like to see and just the point layers that we'd like to see in this report. Now, breaking this down further, we may want to gain information about some boundaries, right? Maybe we're reporting on blocks, or maybe we're reporting on cities for this area, and we need to have a way of identifying maybe what percentage of our network is contained within those boundaries. And so via our network breakdown here, we're able to select a polygon layer within VETRO, and we're able to designate which layer attribute we'd like to group that data in. And so if it's our cities, we can select city name and hit apply here. And if we zoom out here, we can see all of the cities in this area. And then we start getting some visual feedback of the actual city names and what percentage of features and their lengths for these line layers that we're seeing within each individual city. You'll see those line lengths right here, and then what percentage they correlate to in your total network. Now, the big differentiator with the network dashboard and something like a reporting tool such as Excel is that in Excel, you might have ID conventions, and you might even have names, and maybe you're generating pivot tables for where specific cities have those specific features and what their links are, right? And that can be really a heavy lift for generating that, at least initially, and then updating that requires constant update in an Excel spreadsheet. The other thing with that is that we're not able to visually see on a map where those specific features are. And so if we wanted to find out where the features are that are contained in the city of Dodgeville, we're not able to click that in Excel, whereas Network Dashboard, we're able to see all of the features that intersect Dodgeville, and we're able to see what the line length in this example for Backbone is that is contained within that city. Now, the great benefit of Network Dashboard is that we only have to set this configuration one time. And so we're able to share this across other VETRO users. Maybe they're our coworkers, maybe they're stakeholders, and allow them to generate this report or view this report with updated data as you add it to VETRO. As somebody that has a boss, I can tell you that generating the same report over and over again on a weekly or biweekly basis can be really painstaking. And this tool allows us to actually empower those that need this data to view it on their own. By sharing this link here, we get a customized link to this network dashboard that we can copy. And then we can open this up in a tab here if we'd like to. We get a direct link to the network dashboard with that configuration that we've set. And then I can go about maybe even bookmarking this so that I can access it each and every time I need to get that data. Now, let's say you need to take this data with you. Maybe you need to do further analysis on it, and you really just need the KPIs or these network summaries here to perform additional analysis. We've built in an export tool here that allows you to quickly export this data to your browser and take that with you in whatever application you decide to use it in. Back to you, Brock.
Awesome. Thanks, James. That's a great demo. One more little Q&A break here, everybody. Let's see what we've got here. Digging through our chat. Oh, this is a good one. Can these dashboards be shared publicly in the same way as a shared view?
Sorry, I lost where Zoom was on there. I couldn't find the button. Can it be used in the same way as a shared view? There are similar and overlapping use cases for sure. So a shared view is just a way of sharing a map view of the network. So it'll allow you to share kind of what's on the screen here. You can share like where there are zone polygons, what the status of those polygons are, and the shape of your network, and have a legend. And that can be made, that is only publicly available. So if you create that link, it's hard to find accidentally, but it's something you can share outside of your organization. Maybe you've got some investors you want to share it with. Maybe you've got some contractors that you want to just give them a quick look at what the network's going to look like. That's the kind of use case for a shared view. And yeah, it's always going to be public. The network dashboard we're targeting that more at internal stakeholders, so people who need to know specific quantities and get regular updates. We felt like that deserved being behind a login page and just being within the organization. It still gives you the map view, so you can overlap use cases. So if you wanted to have a shared view that was internal only, you should definitely consider the network dashboard as a solution to that. It would do that, but there's not like an inverse. You can't make a network dashboard publicly available. But if you're interested in that, I'd love to learn a little bit about any use cases that you've got in mind for that, and we can take that on as feedback.
Great, thanks for that, Pat. Next up here, are you able to use the network dashboard with census blocks?
Yeah, good question. Yes, definitely. We don't have census blocks like always loaded in VETRO, but our services team, if you have trouble finding them or loading them, they're always able to point you in the right direction or give you some assistance in loading them. But yeah, any polygon layer will work. So census blocks, census tracts. James showed city boundaries. I've seen people use the hexagons. Any polygon really that you want to use. It's going to work best if they're tessellated and not overlapping polygons, which includes census blocks. So yeah, that's a really great way. One of the reasons we added the export feature actually was because of census blocks. Someone wanted to do their BDC reporting and count up all the service locations in each census block. And so, yeah, they're already doing that actually.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Pat. So moving on here, folks, we've got time to close up here with a little bit of housekeeping. An update on the platform literacy and support side. Thanks for joining us today, Jamie, as well. Jamie and her team have been doing a ton of great work on the platform literacy side, updating our help center. So you may have seen the new look of the help center. I'm sure if you're in there looking for support, the idea behind some of the changes we've made was to help make the help center just easier to navigate and create more room for more video content. We know how much our customers have been loving our video content, so trying to make room for more of that. Some sections have been rearranged, but all the content you know and love, it's still in there. The product manual, getting started, our FAQs, it's all in there. And there's up to about 30 VetroVision videos we've got on there now. And you may see our lovely friend Vincent here. This is our new, the platform literacy support mascot here. He's a map pin owl. If you see his face, click away and he'll guide you through those VetroVision videos. And the platform literacy team just wanted to send a quick note that they're always looking for new ways to expand the content. Send ideas if you've got it. If there's support you need, our door's always open. A couple of events that we've got coming up soon. We'll be at FiberConnect next week. Come check us out at booth 1016 if you're there. We'll also be at ISE Expo at the end of the month. And then this fall, we've got Connected Britain and Calyx Connections as well. So if you're at any of those shows, please reach out. We'd love to get together and chat. So that's a wrap here, everyone. If you have questions about what you saw today that weren't answered during the webinar, shoot me an email. I can make sure those get into the right hands for you. For those of you on the call that are not already VETRO users, if you want to see a personalized demo, hit that sales@VETRO Fibermap email. James and team, they'll be happy to help you out. Our support links up there. Follow us on socials. We're doing lots of great things here, and we're really thankful to you all for joining us today. So any final sign off you want to send James or Pat? Otherwise, we can close up here.
Yeah, I just want to say it's been a real pleasure, and I appreciate everyone joining today. Please let us know if you'd like to see a demo. Definitely reach out to support if you have any questions about VETRO functionality as well.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. And with that, that's the end of today's webinar. So have a great rest of your day, and